Say the word L-A-U-N-D-R-Y.
Bravo celebrity.
But wait.
Laundry. Remember how much trouble we got in last time for not knowing enough?
There's nothing we can do about it.
They're criminals! At least the ones we've talked about.
Hi, Gillian Benzavalli.
Hi, Patrick Hines.
Hey, before we start, can we make a special announce?
I would love to.
Fam, I want to give a special shout out to our friend Matt Doyle. He's a TCO listener. He just won a Tony. I've chilled.
I was going to say, no, wait a second. His full name is Tony Award winner Matt Doyle.
He just won a Tony Award for his work in Company. So proud of you, Matt.
Congratulations,
so happy for you.
Matt.
Our friend Jenn Shah, who also listens, who's also in the same show, was nominated as well.
Loving you, Jen.
She didn't win, but she's a winner forever in my eyes.
She just got her picture up at Sardi's.
Yeah, she's
everyone's doing just
fine.
Loving you, everybody.
We love our Broadway fam. Fam, please be listening to Gillian's new podcast, Let the Women Do the Work.
Thank you very much. I love making it every Thursday right in your TCO feed. You do nothing.
You do nothing.
You do nothing
except
at all.
You listen to it.
Well, yes, but you just press play.
Yes, please.
There you go.
Also, come see me on tour. I'm going on tour with Lance and Tim and Maggie. We're doing the MAURA Murray live show all over the place. We're going to Orlando. We're going to West Palm Beach. We're going to Atlanta, St. Paul, Dallas, and Houston.
Wow.
Come see us, fam.
Go see them, please. That's an order.
It's
I don't like
order
telling you what to do, but please go and have fun. Have fun for me. Let me live vicariously through you.
It's going to be so much fun. Also, look, we're going to start talking about it again. Obsessed Fest. September 30th to October 2nd.
She's right around the bend, isn't she? She's right here.
I got to tell you, tickets are almost sold out for the festival pass. So we're about to announce our live shows very soon. It's going to be like a weekend of 2,200 of your true crime best friends hanging out with you and me and Joey and Elliot and Bob Ruff and Maggie and Daisy Egan and Amber Hunt and Rabia Chaudhry and the Generation Y boys.
Oh, wow.
Who else is coming?
That's a lot.
Payne Lindsay, Rebecca and Kevin from Crime Under. Everyone's going to be there.
And more people to be announced.
More people to be announced. ObsessedFest.com. That's it. That's all I got.
All right. Well, we have a lot to get to, so wrap it up.
All right, girl, what are we talking about today?
We are talking about The Housewife and the Shah Shocker on Hulu about a real housewife named Jenn Shah.
When you think of Salt Lake City, it's Jenn Shah. I'm sorry, it's the Jenn Shah show.
She was giving us the money. She was giving us the looks.
Jenn Shah's entire story is wild.
She gets a phone call.
Turn it off.
It's someone telling her that she needs to leave, and you can just tell in Jen's eyes, holy like, I gotta get out of here.
Real Housewives of Salt Lake City cast members Jenn Shah and Stuart Smith now face federal fraud charges.
It's all playing out live. Like, we're breaking news live.
This coming up on is out of control. What is happening?
Listen, some queen goes, when you think of Salt Lake City, you think of Jenn Shah. And I said, I'm sorry, what?
I think of Mormons.
I know.
But
I know. Then I just said, happy Pride, everyone. We're dripping in homosexuals.
Which, great,
I know,
thrilled to
thank
be
God.
involved.
I know,
But apparently, like, the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City is the Jenn Shah show, apparently, to which all other 8 housewives are like, excuse me.
I know. And the thing is, if she were nice, I'd be fine. She's kind of fabulous.
Nice.
But she's not nice. When the housewives people come for me, all I'm saying is she's not nice. She treats her people like crap.
Yeah.
She's constantly yelling at everybody. She's a liar.
Yeah, I don't like her, and I'm fine. Come for me, I guess. Like, my DMs are packed anyway. You'll be in good company. I'm always in trouble. But I don't like her, and I'm not going to apologize for that.
No, and so the first person we meet is a guy named Brian Moylan. This guy wrote a fucking book about the housewives. How amazing is that?
It's called The Housewives, the real story behind the Real Housewives. So he tells us a lot.
Let me just say, it must be great to love something and then be able to, like, make a life talking and writing about it.
I love a thing made by Andy Cohen who's doing this forever.
I know.
Like, the franchises aren't going anywhere.
No.
So if you love The Housewives, boy, are you in luck.
I know.
So apparently there wasn't a new Housewives franchise in a while.
Yes.
And then out of nowhere comes Salt Lake City. And everyone's like, really? Of all places?
The thing is, apparently this was announced at Bravo Fest or whatever.
With our friend Darren Karp.
So Darren Karp, if you guys don't know her, she hosts a podcast called Shaken and Disturbed with John Thrasher. They used to be the Martinis and Murder people.
Right.
They're our dear friends, but she's also Andy Cohen's assistant.
Yes.
Like, that's Darren's, like, other life.
For, like, years and years. I want to say
years.
at least 10 years,
Yes.
something like that. Like a very, very long time.
And she's a lesbian and she's hot and I just like fucking love her
She's
so
wonderful.
much. But she's on stage with Andy when they announced Salt Lake City and everyone goes bananas.
Well, then Kelly Carter comes and saves the day. She's a senior
love her.
entertainment writer for The Undefeated.
Yeah.
And she goes, look,
The Housewives franchise seems to love the unpredictable rich woman. And if you can be a little bit unhinged, but also fling a Chanel bag around too, then sign me up.
Bravo loves their rich, unhinged women, and so do I. So, Kelly, you had me. You had me at hello, Kelly.
But the thing is, like, I'm an unhinged woman sometimes. Like, look, you point a camera at me, I'm going to do whatever's going to get the biggest laugh. I understand that these women might be playing a version of themselves, but it just seems like an awful lot.
You would do that to a point.
Yes.
It's what you do on our live shows. In our live shows. But to have a life like that where it's so, like, scripted and sort of, and just choreographed is not really feasible or sustainable in it.
We meet this guy. His lower third is super fan Colt. He's very concerned to make sure that his hair looks
Colt,
good.
your hair looks great.
It looks great, Colt.
You're good.
You're doing great.
So at BravoCon.
Yeah.
So BravoCon happened in 2019. It was a 3-day event in New York City. And it was a madhouse of Bravo-lebrities.
And there are lots of Bravo-lebrities, which is a word that I'm forced to hear and say.
I know. Wait, when we go to Obsessed Fest, are we going to have, like, obsessed celebrities?
Nope.
Are you an obsessed celebrity?
Nope, I'm a podcaster.
Wait a minute. You guys, I want to be an obsessed celebrity.
Please don't do that. It's so unnecessary.
I
and,
want to
like,
be an obsessed celebrity just for a weekend.
Well, it's your thing. Go ahead.
Okay, great.
What am I going to do? You want to know another word I hate that's
What?
very similar?
What?
Momtrepreneur. Mompreneur.
Oh, yeah.
You're a mother and you're also an entrepreneur. I
Totally.
don't know why it's like girl boss. It's all the same bullshit.
Can I take one quick second to tell you all the different t-shirts I want to wear at Obsessed Fest?
Are you really going to wear them? Because
Well,
if you say it, you're on the record
Here's
now.
the thing. I want to make shirts out of all the typos I make when I make like the Canva things that I post.
It's only a couple days. How many shirts are you going to make?
My favorite one is Lonk in Bio.
Uh-huh.
I want to get a shirt
The
that
only
says
eye, they're
Lonk in
very
Bio.
close to each other. I like the word lonk. You had me. I'm
I
there.
had you
I'm wearing
Lonk
it.
in Bio.
Right. Dana Wilkie.
Yes.
She's a former cast member from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Yes.
Okay.
Great.
Last time we said there was someone there where they couldn't believe that we didn't hate them.
Uh-huh.
Like in the other housewife thing we
Yeah.
did. So I don't know if we love or hate Dana.
Fam,
I don't know.
we are guests in this world.
We are like
don't,
super
we
guests.
don't know what's
we are
happening.
just passing through as quickly as possible.
I will hate whoever you tell us to hate.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But apparently everyone was like, Andy Cohen, Salt Lake City? And Andy's like, now hold on a second. This is going to be our most diverse cast in Salt Lake City.
According to my queen, Colt.
My favorite thing about Salt Lake City is just all 6 women that were on there. There was something different about each and every one of them, from religion to ethnicity to background.
They were diverse in ethnicity, religion, background, and size. They're not all like model thin.
Right.
Which I love.
Which is great. So let's go through some of them.
Okay.
One of them was Mormon royalty.
But not like really, like that's not like a real thing.
No, like famous in the Mormon community.
Totally. She was a Mormon celebrity. A Mormon celebrity.
That was perfect. I hate it, but like, that's perfect.
A Mormon celebrity.
But I'm going to be a hypocrite because I call her a reforman.
Yes.
Because I have friends who were Mormon and they are not anymore.
A reforming celebrity.
I got to draw a line somewhere. Okay?
Okay.
So,
okay.
but she was
Only
like
fair.
a big time Mormon,
Yes.
and now she's a party girl and quote promiscuous. Let's not slut shame, Andy. Then there was a Jewish woman who's now a Mormon,
Yes.
and she runs a tequila company.
Good for her, but she can't be a Mormon who drinks.
Or can she? I think that's
Look,
a
I
word
don't
paradox,
make up,
right?
I don't make up the rules. It's not up to me.
Right. So I guess she's like, I'm a Mormon, but I'm not a real Mormon. I'm a cool Mormon.
She's a tequila celebrity.
Tequila celebrity. But now
It's
everyone.
not going away for the whole
It's
app.
not.
I'm going to do it all.
But we gotta shut up and
Okay.
pull over because
Yes.
now there's a woman
Okay.
who was married to her grandmother's second husband, which means her grandfather.
I know.
He honestly looks great for his age. I need a
know.
ton more information. But there's a woman on the Housewives of Salt Lake City who's married to her grandfather.
And you know what that makes her? A grandma celebrity.
A grandma celebrity. A great granddaughter celebrity. They're not, it's not marriage by blood. It doesn't matter. But
No.
our best friend Kelly goes,
And I thought that those things were gonna make for really good reality TV. And then Jenn Shah said, hold my beer.
Jenn Shah said, hold my beer. What's more insane than marrying your grandmother's second husband?
And the thing is, the guy, we see a video of him. He doesn't look old.
I'm saying he looks great for his age. I need more information.
And marry whatever age you want or whatever, but like he seems closer to what her age would be, I would imagine, than the grandma's age.
I know you're all screaming at us right now. I'm sure there's a logical explanation, but I don't have time to do 28,000 episodes of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City.
I know. Every time they say the name Jenn Shah, we see a video of her doing the worm. Are we going to address that?
Yeah, so So the worm is a dance move.
Yeah. And if you can do it, it makes you a worm celebrity.
Oh, right. You have to stop that. You have to stop.
Okay.
The worm is a move where it looks like you're moving like a worm. If you can do it well, it's kind of like, whoa, they don't have any bones in their body. But Jenn Shah is hammered and just slamming herself on the floor. She's very annoying.
I know.
And she does this thing where she says, like,
I want it to be Shaw-mazing. Yep. I want it to be shabulous.
I want my life to be Shaw-mazing. And I want it to be shabulous or shabulous. And then she goes, oh, I'm Polynesian. I love drama. We all love drama, Jen.
I know. And this is...
Don't do that.
It's just the beginning because we see her in an alley screaming at somebody to shut the fuck up. And I'm like, okay, I'm in for like watching anybody fight on a reality show like 1 or 2 times. Like, you know, like that lady who flips the table or whatever.
Coming to my trap!
This is just the beginning.
Teresa from Jersey. I know her.
This woman is never not screaming. And that's all. We'll get into more of it later, but she's never not screaming.
And she blames it on being Polynesian, which I take major issue with. And then we'll talk to another person who's also Polynesian who speaks not above a whisper. So we'll get there. So apparently there was this feud between Jenn Shah and this woman named Mary in season 1 that, quote, was everything.
I know.
When she got into a fight with Mary over Mary allegedly saying that somebody smelled like hospital.
The smells like hospital begins World War Jen.
And it became the fight that lasted the entirety of the season. The entirety of the season.
I guess what happened was this woman, Mary, said somebody smelled like a hospital.
Jen. She said Jen smelled like hospital. And Jen's like, I just came from visiting my sick fill in the blank.
But her grandmother got her leg amputated. Now, look, I do think that Mary was maybe being a little insensitive in that moment, but like a feud that lasted a whole season. And everybody's like, it lasted the whole season.
Chris Connolly says it started World War Jen.
I know.
Which you know Jenn Shah loves.
I know, absolutely.
It's her hashtag. It's gonna. You know what it's gonna be? The name of her debut fucking album, totally. World War Jen, or her autobiography. Jen, take it with my compliments, because God knows you're not paying me. You don't have the cash.
You're real mad. I don't know who hurt you, but you're real mad today.
I just don't understand.
World War Jen. Look, it's a great name for an album.
Chris, you nailed it.
I know, it's true. By the way, that feud was called Odorgate. Odorgate.
Really? Okay. Colt is back, and Colt says,
what makes for a great housewife is someone that has their loyal fans, but also people that despise them.
People need to love you and hate you equally.
100%.
Am I a real housewife?
Yeah, exactly. And then, so I don't understand how the casting of these things all work, but apparently there's like you submit a tape or whatever. And in Jenn Shah's casting tape, there's a private jet in the background, and she claims that she spends $50,000 a month. We also learned that she once spent $82,000 at a party at a place called, quote, the Chalet, which I guess is the home that she lives in.
I guess.
If this is your life, you should celebrate your success, 100%.
Yes.
But bragging about it to get on a TV show just feels very unself-aware. You know what I mean?
Also a lie, right?
Yes,
so like she also says like she carries 20 pieces of luxury luggage whenever she goes on her private jet. Like all of it is so obviously for show. And I don't understand like to what end.
Right. I mean to get on a TV show so that like these two weirdos would make a podcast about her.
But you don't like, and then what?
Look, I'm with you, but like some of us is our first time here, okay? And we like the idea of being on a podcast because we were on a TV show because we were screaming at some lady at 1 a.m. in an alleyway, and we're a celebrity, okay?
Oh, now you're one of hers?
I'm a celebrity.
Are you a follower?
Wait, I can't believe I had to invent celebrity.
I think Liza invented that. Sounds like you're doing Liza. You're halfway to Liza, not even. You're two twinkle toe steps away from Liza. Just a little shuffle ball change over, and she's right there. But now we meet Koa, everyone.
You guys, this poor person, Koa, he's the fashion designer who like makes all of Jenn Shah's dresses. By the way, these dresses are fucking gorgeous.
Right.
True works of art. One of them is made out of Biden yard signs. So amazing. This poor person has been so traumatized by this woman. I feel truly sorry for Koa.
Koa met Jen in March of 2020, and he just says, my job was to create an image for her, like to be as luxurious and va-va-voom and glamorous as possible. And he made her intro dress because they have all those stupid sayings.
But like, gorgeous dress.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And he was like, that dress cost him $12,000 to make.
Yes.
Then we get into like, because of the luxury and the glamour, people are saying that like the whole point is to aspire to be these housewives.
Yeah, like in order to get on the Housewives, you have to have like an inspirational lifestyle.
They have a beautiful house to shoot in, fancy cars, and diamonds. Anything that would make you want to be that person or live that life.
Anything that would make you want to be that person. Now, look, I'm not casting aspersions. I understand that people want that life. I don't want that life.
Yeah.
But I understand that people do, and that's why these shows are so popular.
I also think, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Right. A lot of people watch Housewives for a lot of reasons that aren't I want a walk-in closet full of diamonds that these women don't actually have. They're fake or they're rented, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people, it's drama that doesn't include you, and it's ridiculous, and it's a way to sort of just escape your decompress, and it's easy to watch. You don't have, it's not The Wire, it's it's
although sometimes it gets kind of close.
I guess.
Yeah.
It's easy and I get that it's fluffy and people can get connected to these people and follow their storylines, but let's not really make it something that it's not.
I also gotta say, one of the things I like about Jenn is that she's a lady who loves an emerald. You never see people loving, it's always diamonds and whatever.
I've loved jewelry ever since I was a little girl. I love emeralds because they're good luck, and green reminds me of money.
But she loves them because she thinks they're good luck and they're green for money.
They remind her of money.
Now, I'm going to say, God, no one is actually like this. No one acts this way unless they're doing it on purpose. You know what I mean?
100%.
When the cameras aren't there and she was working in her corporate life, which we'll get to, she was not being an asshole all the time.
Well,
in some ways she was.
Yeah.
But to the cam, being the cash and the diamonds and the this,
right.
She only does that because the cameras are there and she thinks that that's aspirational.
Well, and one of the things, I'm going to say it now because I don't know if we're going to get to it down the road, but they say when you get cast on The Housewives, they say, if you have any secrets, really think about this because they're all going to come out. And we're going to see video that she, secretly recorded video of her berating her staff.
Yeah.
And I think what happens is you get on that show, you kind of fake your way till you make your way onto that show. And then all of a sudden you have to live up to the lifestyle and you literally can't and you crack. Sometimes, not everyone, but that definitely happened to her.
I agree. And my theory is this. My theory is they don't do much vetting, like Bravo. So Andy Cohen or whoever will say, if you have any skeletons, just be aware, the internet's going to find it out. But it's not good business for Bravo to be you're a thief. We can't have you on. It's good business for them to hire the person with the shady past.
Of course, because we're going to learn later that Bravo's going to basically cover her trial live.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Dumb idea all around.
So we learned that she has a Shah squad. It's the glam squad, the hair, the makeup, the glam, the styling, several assistants.
Several assistants for what?
It's for the look of it, honestly.
God, but one of them is named Stuart Smith.
There's just something off about Stu.
He just looked a little too grown to be her assistant. And I didn't know why he was there. Holding her bag at the Botox Medi Spa. Why are you there, Stu? Why?
Everyone hates Stuart, and no one has any idea. He's just some middle-aged guy who just follows her around.
Until we were made to understand that he's her finance guy, he just looked like a grumpy, poorly dressed, middle-aged assistant. It was as though I got a job working for her.
Right.
I was he's not of the glam squad.
Right, and so even Jen's he would literally do anything for me. He would do anything. And it's but for 12 years, he's just kind of there. And even the people who are experts on the Housewives are I don't know about Stu.
I know.
Really? Me the wrong way. I don't know what he does. And also, what does Jenn Shah do?
Nobody knows, and we'll get into it. But first, we got to stop off at the Michelle Collins show on Sirius XM. Remember when you and I stopped off at the Michelle Collins show?
Briefly.
Fam, you want to hear a story real quick?
Briefly.
So many years ago, Gillian and I had this PR team who booked us on the Michelle Collins show
on Halloween.
Was it Halloween?
It was Halloween day, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. So we hear a little bit of that Michelle Collins show here. Gillian and I were guests on the show, and we walked into the studio, and I was just being myself, and Michelle Collins was giving me shit from the second we walked in, and I would be like, oh my God, we're so happy to be here.
And it was live.
It's
on Sirius XM, but it was a live show. It was not a recorded podcast or anything.
She told us that she thought Adnan was guilty. He's not.
He's not.
She was trying to goad us into a fight, but
she tried to talk shit about Lin-Manuel Miranda too.
Totally.
She tried to she really tried to bait us on a lot of things.
Yes, and then she started yelling at me for the way that I was talking to the microphone. She's like, that's really bad for for our listeners' ears. They don't want to hear it like that. And then she asked us if we would stay for a second segment. We said yes.
On the air, we said yes.
And then in the commercial break, I stormed the fuck out. I was like, you're rude and I am leaving.
She was basically like, can you not be so fucking loud and gay?
Literally.
Like, I think she thought that maybe being mean, we would think it was funny or something.
I don't know.
Because she was mean about like everything she talked about.
Hey, Michelle, if you're hearing this, we had a real bad time on your show and you should feel bad about that. We're good, really nice people and you invited us and you were rude to us.
And we would have had a great second segment.
It's true.
And we made lemonade out of the first segment.
Yeah.
Like, we sort of navigated it, I thought, the best we could. Of
totally.
Like, I'm not going to talk about it. And I'm like, what are you trying to get us to say here?
And one more thing, Michelle, if somebody sends this to you and you hear it and you think it'd be cute to invite us back, don't. We're not coming.
She'll probably just play it on her show and make fun of us or whatever. Totally. Okay. Like, I haven't been dealing with bullies my entire life. All right. But what does Jenn Shah do, right?
Right.
So growing up,
when I was a little girl, I thought I was going to be like on the news. I wanted to be a newscaster. I wanted to be a newscaster, and then my dreams were shattered because I had to put my husband through law school. So that went away.
Bastard.
All my dreams were shattered because I had to put my husband through law school, and we don't really get back to that because the husband we meet is named Sharif, and he's a college football coach.
And my thing is, to put somebody through law school, I'm assuming what you're saying is that you paid for it.
But you still have to work.
You have to work to pay for it. Or maybe what she meant was I had to stay home and take care of the kids while he went. Who knows? They fake us out with the backstory. We don't get any actual backstory.
But like, is this the same husband? I don't know, because Coach Shah is what they call him, and they have, this perfect marriage, I'm sure. They do. It's the Instagram perfect life.
Yeah. And then we meet Jen's aunt, Lahua Vincent.
You know what?
My only point about Lahua is that she does not seem old enough to be Jen's aunt. I don't understand the age difference here.
Oh, no, I get that. You can be a sister. If you have a really, really big family, I can see how the ages could be a little close.
Okay. I just was like, Lahua.
Yeah, I know nothing about anything. We're going to get back to her because they sprinkle her in to be like, she's such a great mom. And I'm like, okay, great. But where the fuck does the money come from?
Right.
And people ask her all the time, including Andy Cohen, who looks directly into her face on one of the reunions and is like, Jen.
What do you actually do?
I mean, I run a lot of different companies and businesses.
Like, she's just saying a lot of words. I mean, she said the word algorithm a lot.
When you're shopping online or on the internet, we have the algorithm behind why you're getting served that ad.
She wants us to believe that she somehow runs the internet in a way that when you get served an ad, she has the secret algorithm that made you get served that ad.
First of all, it can't be true. One, because if it was, she'd say the term targeted ad, which is what she's trying to say but can't explain. Also, there's not just like one algorithm. It's not like the master algorithm. Like Google has theirs and this one has theirs. I don't know. I don't do this for a living. Guess what? Neither does Jenn Shah. So neither of us really know what they're talking about. And then one of the ex-housewives just looks at the camera and they're like, yeah, it's really Shah confusing. And I'm like, I like you. I don't know if I'm allowed to, but that was a nice little dig.
It was a good dig. It was a good dig.
But she won't give a straight answer about her money, which is a big red flag.
Yeah, and I feel like they should ask her more questions.
Because usually I would say, if you were at like a cocktail party, we were doing this in Wild Crime. Stop talking about other people's money. Don't count out other people's money. It doesn't matter. But when you go on a show that's about how rich you are,
exactly,
and about like this lavish lifestyle, people want to know how you afford the jet and the 20 pieces of luxury luggage.
And I guess the thing is, when you actually can't afford those things, and then the world expects you to, that's when you turn into a monster. Right. And that's what happens with her. But Koa, the designer, he's back to spill the tea.
Oh.
This is just the beginning of me being like, Koa fucking hates her.
And it's the tea on not just Jen, but many, if not all, of the housewives.
Totally.
That it's all smoke and mirrors.
What are you saying?
The items that you see, that like the fur coats, they're not owned by her. Any of the large jewelry that you see on her, those are leased and borrowed as well. Did Jenn Shah drive around in a Porsche? Yes. Does she drive in a Porsche now? No. Why? Well, it wasn't her Porsche. That's not her car.
She doesn't own any of her furs or her jewelry. They were all borrowed or leased.
Mm-hmm. And the cars, the same thing?
Yeah.
And not like how people lease cars. No. Like, for the sake of the show, it's some Porsche or some, Bentley or whatever.
But it's not hers. And I just went, Koa!
Right. Because she won't answer. She has this, like, very vague internet business targeted ad thing.
Yeah.
But her husband, who's like, he's a football coach at the University of Utah. They call him Coach Shah.
Yeah.
And people are saying, like, it's a great job. I'm sure he makes a pretty comfortable living.
Yeah.
But not enough for her to drop $80,000 on a party and the private jet.
Or talk about spending $50,000 a month. It's like you can make six figures as a coach, but that's not that kind of money.
Right.
And we learned that Jenn and Sharif have been together for like 2 decades. And the thing is, when all this shit goes down, Sharif is nowhere in the picture. And Kelly, our talking head, is like, Sharif, we've talked about this in everything we've ever done. When someone's picking up the check for everything, no one ever asks any questions.
Right.
He should have been like, honey, I know we can't afford this chalet or the private jet. Where's the money coming from?
Well, Bravo's here, so everyone hush hush.
I know.
Also, it's this whole like, oh, they have a perfect marriage, but she would keep a lot of secrets from him, like when she threw like a $50,000 or $80,000 party, and I'm like,
didn't tell him.
Wait a second.
I know.
Like, is that like the fact that it's a quote secret? That has to be for the sake of the show because it's going to be on television.
And
it's a bad and stupid secret. Also, you can't hide at $80,000 from somebody like that.
No, I threw one fancy party in my life, and it was our post-Broadway party.
Yeah.
That party took like 4 months to plan.
Yeah.
You can't do that in secret.
No.
People have to come and do walkthroughs of your home and shit.
Right, unless you and your person hate each other and don't speak, and Steve doesn't give a fuck what you do.
Right, totally.
And
please. Steve is breathing down my neck at all hours.
Counting every penny.
I know.
Every penny. But like, you know that because you're in an actual marriage and you have like a budget and things to figure out.
Exactly.
And even Colt's like, every marriage has lies and deceits. And I'm like, Colt, not true. Not at this level.
Yeah.
Don't make it act like it's the same and that like it's so relatable. It is very much not.
This is where we really get into the kind of person that Jenn actually was.
Jenn Shah comes off on the show as a little bit unhinged.
Every scene, she's like screaming. And in real life, there are moments where she's always screaming. She's actually worse off screen.
He's like, in real life, she was even fucking worse. Like, she was just a total monster. And then we see these, like, secret Instagram videos that somebody, I love that Koa's like, I have no idea who took these videos.
It could have been any
it
number
could have been
of us.
anyone. She is screaming at him. She seems wasted, by the way.
I'm sure she probably was.
Don't have a attitude with me. I'm going to reunion this week. Shut the up. Okay. No, you all shut the up.
She's saying, like, you shut the fuck up, and she threw a chili bowl at Koa?
I mean, I was really upset about it until he said the word chili bowl, and then I laughed out loud.
Was there chili in it?
I don't know. But we see her pick up a chili bowl and throw it at his head.
And this went on and on,
I know.
and she would do it all the time. And Koa's like, yeah, that Polynesian line, bullshit. He's like, and these are Koa's words, not his. He says, yes, Polynesians yell and scream at each other, but it comes from a place of love. This is not a loving place. His words, not mine. I don't know if that's what that culture is, but Koa says it is.
And we're being told she was preparing for her first reunion show. She realized how unprepared she was. And somebody says, I realize how stressful that can be, as if to explain away her screaming.
Care.
I said being a frontline worker during the pandemic, that was stressful.
Right.
Struggling to pay your mortgage because you lost your job, that is stressful.
Like, what do you do all day? All day you're preparing.
But also, what do you need to do to prepare for a reunion?
But that's how empty her life is, honestly. Like, she has nothing happening. But then Koa says, the last straw.
Come in here because I'm like ready to we're gonna put on boxing gloves and I'm gonna beat out of you in like 2 seconds.
I think that crossed a line and a boundary for me.
She said she wanted to put on boxing gloves and, quote, I'm going to beat the shit out of you. Jenn is saying this to Koa, her designer.
And we hear it. We hear the audio of it.
Like, whether it's hyperbole, I don't give a fuck because she's been screaming at these people for weeks.
Who thinks you can talk to people like that? I will never understand that.
And honestly, I think when you have an audition tape like she had and Andy and Bravo says, I want to pick you, you are validating this behavior.
Yes, 100%.
And now she thinks, well, I'm a Bravo celebrity and no one's going to fucking touch you and I get to do, and like they live for the drama.
Yes.
And so they think that they can do that. And it's like, bitch, the fucking cameras aren't on. Treat people with respect. Cameras on or off.
I love that Koa's like, I finally just decided I was going to get a one-way ticket to Hawaii and get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
But then she stops paying him. He says, the last check I got from her was for my work through September, but I worked for her through January.
Yeah.
And she just stopped paying me. And she stopped paying everybody.
And she has the nerve in her little confessional on the television program to talk shit about Koa.
I know.
And admit, oh, I'm not paying him, but here's why.
Yes.
Because the $12,000 dress he made me wasn't up to par or whatever.
This is where I have the note. Please tell me this ends with her falling in a volcano.
Yep. I mean, in a way.
But also, it's like you're lying, Jen, and Instagram has receipts. We've seen all the videos.
Right. And then her aunt comes back.
Yeah.
And her aunt is like, no. That is all in the editing. Jen has overcome adversities every single day of her life. And then, like, we hear from Beth, her former classmate, saying that, Beth is Polynesian too. And Jen experienced a lot of very mean racism in her life.
And that is true. And, like, the story that Aunt Lahua tells us is fucking awful. She says that...
I remember her on one afternoon coming home from school. I noticed that her skin was just bright, had a bright red tint to it. And she said, I scrubbed and it won't come off. And I said, what are you talking about? What won't come off? And she said, the kids at school are calling me dirty and I'm trying to scrub it off. It won't come off.
Because of the color of her skin, Jen was being called dirty by the kids at school. And one day, Aunt Lahua finds her in the bathroom and her face is bright red because she's been trying to scrub the color of her skin off of her body.
That is one absolutely heartbreaking. I can't imagine what that must be like.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
On the other side of that coin, you cannot scream at people over fucking sequins on your dress. No. And, like, I understand, like...
You're looking right at me when you say that. You're looking right at me.
But, like, Koa is Polynesian and he didn't bully you in high school, Jen.
Yeah.
Like, stop making issues where there aren't any. Just go to the fucking reunion. Take the paycheck and shut up.
Can I ask you, what is hard about the reunion? What do you have to prep? I really don't understand.
She's making it up. It's like some drama to be, like, have an issue about or make an entrance or some bullshit.
We should have had Darren Karp sit in on this episode with us. She would have explained it all to us.
Like, I'm not negating someone's trauma or experience, especially with racism, but it's no excuse to scream at your assistants. I'm sorry.
I know. She's not doing that for the camera. She doesn't even know she's being filmed.
That's who she is.
Yes, 100%.
It's who she is.
Yeah.
And then don't be a fucking Real Housewife. Go to therapy. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. So it's March 2021. We're back to the present. And I mean, I guess I remember people talking about this.
She's meeting up with her friends. They're about to go on a cast trip, and she gets a phone call. It's someone telling her that she needs to leave, and you can just tell in Jen's eyes.
She looks into the camera. She knows she's cornered.
Holy like, I gotta get out of here.
And everyone is saying, like, you can see on her face that this call is really bad. And all of a sudden, she's having, like, the tech person rip her microphone off.
Well, that's when you know it's bad.
I know.
When they don't want the mic on, right? So suddenly, quote, some time elapses.
Totally.
Thanks for the details.
I know.
And the cops are there, but it's not just Salt Lake City cops. It's the NYPD.
And it's like the FBI. It's like everyone's face is blurred. All of a sudden, we're seeing, like, the exterior of Jen's house. They're there with fucking machine guns.
And you know...
Machine guns!
And you know who else is arrested with her? Stewart, that guy who no one knows what he does, and, like, her best friend of 12 years.
And they do also arrest, like, all of her family that's in the house, and we're told they're arrested at gunpoint, which I do think is a bit much.
Yeah, I mean, the kids are around. The kids didn't do it.
No.
Being accused of running a nationwide telemarketing fraud scheme.
She is charged with conspiracy to commit wire fraud and then conspiracy to commit money laundering.
One holds a penalty of maximum sentence of 30 years in prison, and the other holds a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison.
Very serious.
Very serious.
She can get like 50 years for this shit. These are serious charges.
And like this trial hasn't happened yet. Like this really could happen to her.
So Jenn and Stewart enter pleas of not guilty, and these fans or these bots probably like paid tweeters by Bravo are just blindly on her side. Someone tweeted, "I'm so excited." Excited for what? Hashtag free Jenn Shah. That being a girl boss is not a crime. Who wrote this? Fucking the Lula Rich people?
And here's the thing. If anybody could tell me what her job was, then fine. You would have a leg to stand on.
Also,
you know what I mean?
Like, person watching this in your kitchen, Jenn Shah would scam you and sell you out in a heartbeat. Know that.
I know. It's true.
Know that. Like,
it's
she
true.
doesn't give a shit about you.
No.
And also, Jenn Shah started the free Jenn Shah hashtag her goddamn self because of course she did. Doesn't that tell you everything you need to know?
Yeah. Although, if I get into a sticky situation, I'm starting the free Patrick Hines hashtag. No question about it.
Well, not too sticky, please.
Look, there are things that Jenn Shah and I have in common. I'm not going to list them here. But
well, now you have to give me 3.
I'm just saying, like, the idea of starting my own free me hashtag would cross my mind.
You love a good party.
I do love a good party.
You wouldn't turn down a private jet. Okay.
And I might try to keep a party or two from Steve if I could get away with it.
If. Big if.
we start to learn the backstory of this whole investigation. We learn like the entire time Jenn's been on this show, she's been being investigated by the feds.
And before that, so she's been investigated since 2016. It's called Operation Double Down. So when the Bravo executive producer looks at you in your eyes and says, Jenn, is there anything you want to tell us? And she says no. She knows, this is going to make great TV.
Yeah, and we learn it's a telemarketing scheme out of New York. Yeah. And essentially, we'll get more into it, but the whole scheme is honestly built around the fact that everybody wants to work from home. And that's a real thing. I mean, I remember like Googling like work from home jobs like right before we started making this podcast.
Yeah, I mean, yes. But also like in 2016, pre-pandemic, right? This really flourished when lockdown started.
Yeah, because what happens is you're on Facebook or you're on Instagram. Maybe you're not the savviest internet user or you don't really know how to use computers. You have some reason for wanting to like look for work from home. You click on a thing, you convince yourself to buy this like $97 starter kit for working from home, and all of a sudden all of your information is on a list that goes out to these scammers all over the internet who are now going to call you and try to sell you more services.
They claim to help you build a website, to boost your social media profile, to market yourself. They'll offer coaching services. You're paying for all of this, and the calls never stop. They keep coming and coming, but they're just there to prime you for the next sale of something that doesn't exist.
People who get targeted for this are people they know who are going to be home. So it's like people on disability, people who are retired, people who are senior citizens.
Right, and Jenn wasn't 1,000% wrong. There's a kernel of truth. Like if you're Googling work from home jobs, you get that targeted ad.
100%.
But the targeted ad leads to this scam.
Yeah. So they give us a few examples of people that this happened to, and we meet this older lady. Her name is Charlene Foster. She's super grumpy.
Well,
I know, and I'm not upset with her for being grumpy. I mean, number one, she's 90.
She's 90.
If I live to be 90, you better believe I'm going to wake up grumpy every day until Daisy serves me my vodka, my warm vodka and coffee at 8:15.
Tell me how that's different from any other day.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't really. I'm just saying I'm consistent.
Look,
consistency is key.
So when you're 90, none of us can be surprised.
No. I told you here. I told you now. When we do Obsessed Fest 2098.
How many episodes of this podcast have we made? How many episodes have you been like, I'm a real grump in the morning? We know. So we get Charlene from her deposition in 2018.
Yeah.
She's 90 years old. But this is where I'm just like, Charlene, why?
I think the initial was $30,000. One business that required I send them $8,000.
Okay, and did you do that?
Yes. And that's what really started me thinking that I'm way in too deep.
I think what happened with Charlene, and she says this herself, she was talked into giving money to this one thing, got on this list, and all of a sudden the money is just more and more.
Yes,
and she thinks, like, I would imagine she comes from a generation where you handle these things yourself, you don't get the cops involved. Like, she just thought she could handle it on her own, and she couldn't.
And this was for an amazing investment opportunity.
Yeah.
This wasn't to work from home, so they just knew what to say, and they got her.
We hear these fucking scammers, because, like, these calls are being recorded by the feds, because they're tracking these people. We hear these fucking scammers, one of them teaching the other one. One of these assholes is like, I'm going to put $20,000 on this credit card. And the guy's like, no. You got to spread it out over 15 of her cards and call it a day. What a motherfucker. Death penalty. I don't believe in the death penalty except for that guy.
It's really horrible because they know I'm going to get this old lady who's 90 years old. Like, they're so specific on their targets.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. So this ring that got Charlene was in New York and New Jersey, but the feds find more of these rings out in the West. So in Arizona, in Utah.
And Nevada.
But
Utah is where Jenn Shah comes in because she's in Salt Lake City.
Is Utah the West? Are we going to get in trouble? Is that the Midwest?
You have to go west to get there from here. That much.
So they find 3 more of these rings west of New York.
There you go. But this has been happening for years and years and years.
Yes.
And it's heartbreaking. It's like people who just need a break, and these scammers come along like Penny.
Yes.
Poor, sweet Penny.
Yes.
Penny Puckett.
Penny Puckett. First of all, who scams a lady named Penny Puckett? What a great name.
Put that on a business.
Put it on a business.
Put it on like one of those pretzel stores in the mall or something. Penny Puckett's Pretzels.
Totally.
Get out of here. Penny Coleman.
Penny Puckett's Pail of Pretzels?
Right. Not a scam, Penny.
Not a scam. But Penny's amazing. She's saying in 1980, she and her husband moved to a family farm. They had 2 kids and another on the way. Up to 2011, the farm was going great. And then the farm starts to fall apart, and the bank floats them for a year to see if they can turn it around, but they can't. And then I said, but let the women do the work, because Penny Puckett has this, idea.
So at that point, I had some sewing skills. And so my mother had developed that kind of a snuggle-type blanket And so I decided that maybe that was something that I could market online.
Penny's like, I love to sew. I'm just going to like sew these little snuggly blankets for babies and make a business selling those.
Right. And she can make the product, but selling it is where she needs some help.
Exactly.
So that's what happens. She Googles like how to help market your business online.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I've done. Like, I've made that
Everybody
same Google
has.
search. Exactly.
Like, that's the thing. It's a universal thing. Work from home. Or
Yes.
like when you need help with something, you look it up. You do the research. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So she sees the ad, like work from home and will help you get yourself out there.
Yeah.
She pays $97 and now they have her. So they sell her information all over the place, like we were saying. And now these companies are going to call her and say, I hear you need a website. I hear you need PR. I hear you need this. And so these companies are going to scam her into getting all these things either she doesn't need or they don't exist or whatever.
Or like they start to make it and then it vanishes. Like, these are all scams. Like, none of this is
or
real.
if you want this, I can do this, but then the next package costs this.
Totally.
And so that's how $97 turns into $29,000 pretty quickly.
Yeah, and Penny goes, these people are really smooth.
I know.
Poor Penny.
I sold 0 blankets through any of the marketing techniques that they presented. I've got boxes of snuggle blankets. I give them away as gifts. And they make really good gifts for new moms. So...
And let me tell you, her Etsy shop is just her name, Penny Puckett, if you want to buy one of these things. Because she won't self-promote, but I
know.
will.
I was like, I want to buy them from her and sell them at Obsessed Fest.
They're on Etsy.
I know. She's so great. And she's just like trying to like help her family, you know?
Yeah. So she feels really embarrassed, right? Like she put in all this work and she feels really embarrassed. And the feds are like, no, Penny, it's not your fault. They're really good at this, but we need your help.
Yes.
We're going to ask you a ton of questions and don't be embarrassed. We know it's humiliating, but like we're on your side. We're going to help you out and you can help out other people.
And now we have to let the podcasters do the work.
Right.
So we're with this podcaster who's been with us all throughout.
She's the ex-housewife.
Exactly. And she's saying that as the feds were investigating, she was doing her own podcast investigation.
Googing. So she Googs Jenn. She finds Jenn's LinkedIn page.
So this is kind of a scoop, I think, because like nobody knows where Jenn's money comes from. Nobody knows how she makes all of her money. She finds Jenn's LinkedIn page. It says from 2006 to present, she was the director of business development for a company called Prosper Inc.
Now, let me say something. I'm not taking anything away from what Dana's doing with the podcast or the research, but is she seriously the first person to Google Jenn Shah and find her LinkedIn page?
I don't know, but
is that possible?
I don't know.
Or is she the first person to say, now, wait a second, and put it all together? Because like a 2006 LinkedIn page.
And
like,
also, she shows us a picture. She found a picture of Jenn Shah from that LinkedIn page, and we see it now. And she looks like a total fancy pants corporate executive.
She looks like Karen from The Office.
100.
She looks like boring, bland, plain pantsuit, short, straight hair, just like nothing to her.
And like, since today is the first day I ever heard of this woman, and all I had ever seen was all these images of her from the Housewives.
Yeah.
To see this picture of her from 2006 was wild.
Right. It's not the Jenn Shah. Jen wants us to know.
Totally. The woman in 2006 didn't throw a chili bowl at anyone.
No. Thank God. I mean, go back to her.
I know.
If you find yourself picking up a chili bowl and ramping up, I want you to stop, put the chili bowl down, and go walk around the block and get some fresh air. If you find yourself in one of those record scratch moments, am I about to wait a second?
Huck a chili bowl at an assistant
for sequins?
I know.
You've made several wrong turns. I urge you to go back to where you started and try again. But now, so Jenn was working at this Prosper Inc. company in 2006.
Back then, she was a Prosper celebrity. I'm sorry. I'm done.
You're going to stop laughing in a minute because what Prosper did
I know.
in 2007, and Jenn is working there and living her best corporate life, eating a bunch of salads or what have you, whatever you have for lunch in a corporate environment. Prosper makes national news because
one of its sales floor employees sued the company for waterboarding him.
He was at a company event as a motivational exercise. Instead of building the human pyramid or trust falls, he was waterboarded.
They fucking waterboarded someone and got sued for it.
Fam, this is so bananas.
This company used waterboarding as a motivational exercise. What the fuck ever happened to a trust fall, which is bad enough?
They strapped this person to an actual waterboarding contraption, waterboarded him in front of everybody at this conference.
And the individual waterboarding him allegedly was saying, see how he's struggling to breathe? That's how hard you should be working to make your sales.
That's how much you should be trying to make your sales. I don't know if you ever saw the movie Glengarry Glen Ross or The Play by David Mamet.
Yes.
The whole famous Alec Baldwin scene, put the coffee down, coffee is for closers only.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw this, but in the deposition, they wrote, breathing is for closers only.
What's the next line? Greed is good? Fucking Gordon Gekko?
They waterboarded a guy.
For motivation.
I know.
That would make me never go to work again.
I mean, to witness a waterboarding would be so traumatic. I can't even imagine.
And clearly, not just witness it, how about experience it?
It can kill you.
Because the guy sued them. Did the guy not know?
I know.
I guess he didn't sign up for it because they sued him and then they settled for an undisclosed amount. But Jenn, in her infinite fucking wisdom, decided to keep working there.
I know.
She didn't leave until 2011.
I know. Right. So in 2011, she leaves that company for a new company called Thrive.
And they're all telemarketing companies.
Yes.
So she has experience in telemarketing.
She is a VP of business development and she's very proud of herself and she loves her new job until she doesn't get invited to a VP business party. And she gets real offended and then quits that job too and decides to go out on her own.
Right. Just a couple of timeline notes here.
Yeah.
In 2015, Jenn is deposed about her time at one of these businesses.
Yes.
By 2017, that business is fined, like the other, not the waterboarding business, the other one, is fined $27 million for deceptive sales practices. She's on Bravo while all of this is happening.
Yeah, and I think what the feds are trying to say to her is like, girl, we know what you're up to. Like, you've gone off on your own to start your own business doing this shit. We just fined that company $27 million. Don't do it, Jenn. Just don't do it.
Just don't do it.
You know?
Just don't do it.
Yeah.
So we meet another woman who was scammed by these people. Her name is Marie Walker.
She just wanted to start her own online health and beauty business at 67 years old.
Good
I know.
for her.
Absolutely.
Marie clicked on an ad for home-based businesses and was soon inundated with calls from telemarketing companies.
So from the beginning, the companies wanted to know about my finances. They asked about credit card limits, 401ks. They asked about everything.
She ended up spending $18,000 on these telemarketers. It's the same thing. Like, they just got her to spend more money. And she was scammed by a company called Mastery Pro, which is allegedly a shell company connected to Jenn Shah.
Well, I love that Marie, she goes, hell no. She calls the banks, the credit cards, the cops, and the FTC.
The FTC. She went to 1,000, and she should.
Totally. And like, we're focusing now on Jenn and Stuart as partners in this like scamming ring, to which I said, where's her husband?
I don't know.
Like, we don't see him. We never get an interview with him.
No. And we don't even get like footage of him doing an interview. We don't even get footage of him on the show, really. We just see like a couple shots of him coaching, like actually doing his job. So I don't know what's going on there.
What did you think, Sharif, when you were getting on the private jet with the 40 suitcases?
Yeah, I don't know,
girl.
Sharif. I don't know.
I don't know much about my life because Steve controls it all, but I do know that if we were getting on a private jet tomorrow, I'd have some questions.
Or you'd say 20? We're taking 20 pieces of the Louis Vuitton? I don't know. It seems excessive.
Oh, yeah, it seems like
for a weekend on Fire Island.
Totally.
Seems like a lot.
But thank you for having them install an airport on Fire Island. I'm
you.
sick of that goddamn ferry. You know what I
That
mean?
ferry is a
God
nightmare.
damn it. So Jenn is in prison, and get this.
She had to put $250,000 cash towards the bond guarantee that she would show up in court.
What was remarkable was she had no assets. She had to put real cash instead of real property because she didn't have a house.
Because she doesn't have any assets.
She doesn't own anything.
No, Koa is back to be like, you think that house was owned? No, girl, she rented that.
And it was all staged. And
Yes.
it's like, now, this is where Bravo, it's like, you know this.
Yeah.
You know that these women are perpetuating these lies and the lifestyle is all bullshit.
The only reason I care about that is because it's the same thing as that like Instagram versus life. Where
Yes.
like the whole like body image thing, like the impossible beauty standards that aren't actually real.
100%.
You know?
Like, there are women who feel bad about themselves.
Yes.
I'm not saying all the time, but like, they think that this is a life they can't attain, and they can't because it's fake.
Right.
It's not real.
Yeah, I agree.
So, like, it's 2021, and so she's out. I guess she found $250,000 to give to the bail bondsman or whatever.
Yeah.
But she's out in 2021, and she's doing a paid event at the Hustler Club.
Here in New York City, it's a straight strip club, and all we see is pictures of her with gays.
Like, it's someone else's event, but she's just sort of there doing an appearance when she has criminal charges against her. But I'm like, look, she needs money. A gig's a gig, right?
I love that these like homosexual men are just at the Hustler Club to meet Jenn Shah.
Yeah, I'm sure they're drag queens.
Totally.
Jenn Shah, drag queens. But like, of course, like an idiot, Jenn is still doing the show. And her freaking opening line, those intro lines are...
The only thing I'm guilty of is being Shah-mazing.
The only thing I'm guilty of is being Shah-mazing. Jennifer, I'm not doing it.
But this is the thing. Like, everyone is saying she's kind of out of her mind because, like, she's like she has a court date coming up where she could go to prison for 70 years.
It's like what we were talking about with Erika Jayne. Like, everything you say is now held against you in a court of law, and it's on television. But you know who else?
Who?
Stu, weirdo Stu, who no one knows
know.
anything about. He pleads guilty. He cooperates, and if he testifies live on Bravo, it is over.
Look, I know you're in the mafia, but if we ever get arrested for anything, I'm turning on you as fast as I can.
All right.
You think I'm loyal like that, but I'm not.
I know you're not.
Okay.
I have no illusions about that.
I can't go to prison, GP.
I know.
More than you, I can't go.
I understand.
Okay.
Again, I know. It would be like we never met. I completely understand. You'd throw me. Maybe you wouldn't throw me under the bus, but you'd let it run right over me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love you.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Doesn't hold up in court, but sure. And don't write me in prison either. You're getting no content out of it. If you fucking
I know.
throw me under the bus and you don't help me and your loyalty goes out the window, then you can't know.
But look, we need to take our own chili bowl advice. If we're ever in a situation where the turning of myself against you might mean that you go to prison for a long time, we should walk it back.
We should take a nice deep breath, have a
go for
big
a walk
glass
around
of
the block.
water.
Yeah, totally.
Just sit. Cooler heads prevail.
Yeah.
The housewives don't do that though.
I know.
That's not on brand.
I know.
And so it just sort of ends with like maybe Stu will testify and just like stay tuned to Bravo. This is basically a commercial for the next season of The Real Housewives to see what happens to Jenn Shah.
I
don't care. I'm not watching it.
Well, I want to just say, like, these feds are kind of amazing. Rick Patel, he's one of the main feds here. He's here just to say, like,
when you talk to a victim and you see everything they've worked for, and then you see where these fraudsters are living the best lives they can live and not worrying about money in any kind of way, they don't have a problem sleeping at night. I have a problem sleeping at night. We are going to try our best to get as much of their money back as possible. Getting restitution for the victims is always our number one priority.
Our life is spent every single day dealing with the victims of their crimes. And these people who don't have much, but they lose everything. They're elderly. They're in their 60s.
Like they're Googling because they need a break.
Yes.
They're looking for help. And this is what you do to them? Like you're a piece of shit.
And then like cut to Jenn Shah in her closet weighing her emerald necklace.
Right?
You know what I mean?
I have no sympathy, Jen.
Yeah.
Like I don't care.
Okay. I think you've made that perfectly clear.
Okay, good. Gregory. Okay, that's not. Do you think confusion?
No, I think we got it.
Fantastic. Right, work here is done.
Oh, fam, we did, what's it called?
The Housewife and the Shah Shocker. Is anyone shocked that like nothing about this woman is real or authentic?
No.
Is that a real shocker?
Not to me.
There's nothing about her that's real or genuine. And you can see it on her face. It's ridiculous.
Fam, if you want to hear stories of like women doing the work in true crime.
Yeah. The anti-Jen Shahs.
The anti-Jen Shahs. Tune into Gillian's new podcast, Let the Women Do the Work, every Thursday.
That's right.
Right here in the TCO feed.
Yeah.
It's a documentary-style podcast where she reframes true crime cases from the perspective of women involved. So tell them who you talked to.
Yeah, so like, for example, with Lori Davis from the West Memphis 3, we had a really lovely conversation. And then our amazing team, Jennifer and Becca and Natalie, we put it together in a documentary style. So Lori's telling her story. I jump in and then narrate a little bit. There's beautiful soundscapes. I love the team that I worked with, and I love the women I spoke to. So that's it.
You also spoke to Lisa Lott Lublin, who was a Cosby survivor.
Yes, I actually fell in love with her when I watched We Need to Talk About Cosby.
Yes.
And I was like, I really want to get her on Let the Women, and the team made it happen. So that was a really big deal for me.
Rabia Chaudhry, Maggie Freeling, Roberta from LuLaRich, Gemma from The Keepers,
Amanda Villegas from A Fatal Confession, Keith Morrison. So yeah.
These episodes are incredible. Everyone's loving them.
Thank you.
Please come see me on tour with Lance and Tim and Maggie. We're doing the Missing Maura Murray live show. It's funny and thoughtful, and I just love coming out to see you guys.
Yes, go see them. They are braving hurricane season down in the South, I hear.
Oh, yeah.
You got to go see them.
I mean, I'm going to be a gay in the South, so it'll probably be overrun with hurricanes. It'll be my fault.
There you go.
You know
delicious. That's the cocktail, everyone.
Join the Facebook group. It's the True Crime Obsessed podcast discussion group. Almost 50,000 of your true crime best friends in there. That's all. What are we doing next, girl?
Oh, God, more scammers. We're doing Trust No One, The Hunt for the Crypto King.
The Hunt for the Crypto King, okay.
In which I will probably still not know what cryptocurrency is by the end of it. I have no idea.
Well, stay tuned for the trailer for that. Our funny and hilarious outtakes.
Yeah.
Our rage.
Yeah. I thought we kind of had it on lock with Erika Jayne that they were going to be on our side. So they were not.
Nope.
So if we have some Jenn Shah apologists, whatever.
We love you.
We love you.
Bye.
Bye.
When I think of somebody who's a criminal mastermind, who's devious, calculating, cunning, what we don't think of is a geeky 24-year-old.
Jerry came across friendly, positive, upbeat.
Everyone has a thing they're a nerd about. It seemed like Jerry's was business.
I created Quadriga CX for buying and selling Bitcoin.
Canada's largest cryptocurrency exchange.
Are we hanging out with Mark Zuckerberg right now? Is that what's going on?
Jerry was traveling a lot. Maybe that was him avoiding something.
The exchange suddenly stopped working.
This is an astonishing story. Gerald Cotton passed away, and he took the passwords with him. And that means $190 million of customers' holdings are locked inside, and no one can access them.
I think it was at that point I was like, oh, crap.
And then he goes, oh my God, I keep falling in this fucking chair.
You fell almost backwards that time. Are you okay? Usually you just go down, but you almost fell back. Are you all right?
I'm okay. Oh my God.
Now your phone says scam likely when these phone calls happen.
Oh, is that
right?
yeah, mine says like scam alert or whatever.
But
I haven't answered my phone since 2008, even when my mother called.
My phone's only on silent. But I have to tell you want to see something?
Yeah.
Look at all I'm going to show you right now. Look at all of these missed calls in the red. Look at how many scam likelies I get a day.
Wow.
Mike was like, what list are you on? I'm like,
I
don't know. But look at all that red. That's
I know.
insane.
That's crazy.